Good morning, or at least it's morning where I am. It's Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock actually. And my name is Martin Bland, and I am a Hatha Yoga teacher. I've been teaching Hatha Yoga, I guess, all my adult life. 54 years of bringing health to Americans through the practice of Hatha Yoga. It has made a difference everywhere that I have taken Hatha Yoga and introduced it. I'm telling I've worked in nursing homes. I've worked with people with compromising diseases from cancer. I've taught and worked for the Multiple Sclerosis Society for 20 years. But what I want to share with you is this. I teach at the Senior Center program here, well, in Teaneck, New Jersey, and it's just a stone's throw from the George Washington Bridge. I've been teaching there, at that senior program. They tell me I've been there for 20 years. I teach 4 classes a week. Each of those classes has 25 to 30 participants. Their age range, mid 60s into the 80s, with one exception, and we'll call her Lady T. She's 96 years old, and at last report, she's doing just fine. Now, let's say it's 100 people that I teach every week. Graduating classes, we have the introductory class, which starts in the chairs, and you can find that on yogawithmartin.com. Anybody could do it. I don't care what your age is, you can get a start. And then they graduate. After that, they go to level 1, 2, and 3. And level 3 is about, it's not advanced, it's less than advanced, but they do all the basics, the sun salutation, the hero, and the warrior postures, and so forth. They know all the basics, and they do them well. Now, here's what's important. These, my students, are most vulnerable. Most vulnerable. So far, up to this moment, with one exception, no virus. No one, with one exception, has been infected with the virus. That one exception was one of my students who had other compromising health issues, including shingles. She actually ended up in the hospital, and that made me sad because I was looking for 100%. So I felt a little bad until she got to the end of her story, and she said, "But you know what, Martin?" She said, "My doctors, my caretakers, they were impressed with my breathing, my regulatory system. I never needed," she said, "any ventilation, any help whatsoever." Her lungs carried her through, and although we've just started back slowly, she's back in class. Okay, now, is this a coincidence that out of 100 people, one infection and one great recuperation? Is that a coincidence, or does the yoga breathing make that difference? I'm not talking to you all. As a matter of fact, my real target in this is to reach more of the most vulnerable. That somehow this gets into nursing homes and such. And I've done some remarkable work in nursing homes. But getting this message out I'm going to need some help. I know it makes a difference. But let me also say that this is not just my class and my students. Somewhere along the line, we're going to learn that people, Americans who've been practicing yoga, have fared and will fare better than most others, because the breathing that happens in a yoga class, it makes your lungs exactly what they should be. They protect you, and they put up a robust fight for any attack from the virus. Now, I'm not trying to make yogis out of anyone who's listening here, but I want you to take the simplest and the easiest part of this and just start breathing. And when you go to section 2, I'm going to tell you more about why and explain more to you about what you're doing and the difference that it's going to make. And I'm going to make a recommendation of how often you should do this. And it's not going to take up much of your time. But if you begin now to strengthen your respiratory system, you will be making your lungs able to fight for you when attacked. You know, most Americans, you don't think about breathing, and I accuse us of having, well, not me, having lazy lungs. I'll bet you most of you don't know what it feels like when your blood is rich with oxygen. That makes a difference. That's health in itself. So I don't want you to be yogis if you're not interested. But yoga works, and this breathing works. And I'm saying you now, telling you right now, that the yoga teachers across this country are getting right now on the front lines. And this is what we can do. If you learn this breathing and you use it as recommended, that's going to make for prevention. Once infected, a yoga teacher can help that patient get back to health. Yeah, I think we should actually be in the hospitals, okay? And then recuperation. Yoga breathing will speed it up, and the health benefits just from your lungs functioning properly and your blood being rich with oxygen, that in itself, that's health. If you do this breathing, you're going to have a much better chance at beating this virus, or that if you do get infected, it'll be like a bad cold and over and gone. But you gotta give your lungs a fighting chance. So what I want you to do, first of all, let me say this. There's a yoga center in every small town and city, and there's probably more than one. You should be beating down the doors of your local yoga center. And again, if you just do the breathing, that's all I'm asking you to do. But there's more to it if you want to continue to make, because we treat the whole body like we treat the lungs, you know. Everything gets attention. Yoga, as we use it here in America, it's all about health, health, health. And we are developing a very firm position. You know, when I turn on the TV, I see these commercials selling cars and everything, and somebody's doing downward dog and upward dog and all of that. So it's becoming popular enough that even commercials are using yoga as part to sell their cars and whatever else they're selling. So we already have established ourselves as good for American health, but we're not reaching enough people. Right now, I'm trying to reach people that know nothing about yoga, haven't thought about breathing or anything else, and the most vulnerable. Those are the people that we need to reach. And Yoga teachers, like I say, we're on our way right now to the front lines of bringing America back to health. But what I want you to do is just think about the math here. 100 most vulnerable senior citizens, mid 60s into the 80s, with one exception, no virus. They have not been infected. That's not peculiar to my class. That's what happens in the yoga class. There's emphasis put on just breathing, and that's all I'm asking you to do. So, and think about this. When you do it, you're going to sit down comfortably and follow the instructions and do it and follow the instructions every day until you know it, until you have it, and you can do it without the instructions. That's what you're going to do. And then when you got it, practicing safe distance, share it with someone else. You'll only be doing good. It won't hurt them, and it's gonna help. It's going to make a difference. So, what I'm asking you to do, this is too easy not to do it. You know that. So I don't want you just to turn this off and say, interesting and so forth. Come on, guys. You got plenty of time. You're home. Bring something new into your life. And if the breathing, you're going to feel the results right away from the first session when you go to section 2 of this presentation. When you're finished, you're going to feel that oxygen in your blood. It feels different when your blood is rich with oxygen. And you're going to be more relaxed because that rhythmic breathing is what we call it. Rhythmic breathing or basic breathing. It quiets the nervous system, I promise you. If you do this, when you put your head on your pillow at night, and you do about 10 rounds of this organized, controlled breathing, you are going to relax. And most of my students say the best night's sleep that they have is when they do that breathing first. Or if they wake up in the middle of the night and they can't get back to sleep, they do the breathing. It will relax you. And that's something that we need very, very badly now because people are not adjusting well. Many people are not adjusting well to the lockdown. And that's another problem that we should be looking at. In my mind, this is the first time we've had so much time for ourselves. Let's do something with that. Let's dedicate some of that time to our health. So, I want you to do this. And if you have any problems with it at all, I want you to be in touch with me and email me. And also the website is yogawithmartin.com. And for those of you who want to go a little further than the breathing, but that's all I'm asking you to do now. Breathe, strengthen this, fortify this. Make your lungs as healthy as they were designed to be. But if you want to go further, it's right there. It's in your town. Call these yoga teachers in your town and get busy, guys. To dedicate some of this time to making yourself healthier. It works. It truly works. So, I don't want to beg you, but if I thought it would be effective, if I thought it would make you do section 2 and get started, I would beg you, but let's save that for the next time. So, as we say in yoga, namaste. It's like the same thing as ciao. It means hello. and goodbye. And don't be lazy. Come on, give this a shot. It's too easy for you not to do it. What excuse are you going to have when you won't sit down and breathe for a few minutes? There's no excuse. I want you to do it. Come on. Namaste.